Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra Kaye, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. Now, you're seeing us here early, and I should say right now we are not live. I know normally on Sundays we are live, but we are not live today because we just kind of wanted people to go and watch the Super Bowl, whatever, and hey, we're not taking that one way or the other, right? We know sometimes we play second banana to certain things or whatever, and it's cool, whatever. But we also wanted people to, watch the Super Bowl and then come back to this if you want, whatever it is, right? So we're not live. I'm gonna say that 99 times we're not live because sometimes when I'm in the comment section, I'll see people say, "You're not seeing my comments." And just want to say again, we're not live. So I should also say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Today, we're going to be talking about, I guess it was Friday at this point, where it was discovered on Trump's Truth Social, his social media site, that he posted a video of the Obamas along with another video. And I'm going to show y'all everything so y'all can draw your own opinion and things like that. Donovan admittedly has not really been tuned in. He's kind of seen some things, but been under the weather. So he's not totally abreast of what's going on. So this is kind of going to be a first look for him as well. But we're going to ponder the question of, was it racist, right? That's the question that we're going to get to the bottom of. But in the meantime, Donovan, how you feeling?
Getting a little bit better, eating a little bit more. It's just something that hit me overnight, and it stuck with me for a while. And, with these cat hairs and animal hairs, I had to catch up a lot.
Stay out of the DR. I told you to stay away from the DR.
I need to be there in the DR right now. As a matter of fact, this is the second anniversary of my beloved dog Belle passing away, because she did pass away on my way to the DR Super Bowl, and I canceled my trip because thousands of dollars was lost because I'm not going to leave my dog. I'm not going to leave my dog. But this new dog, maybe. I'll do it, maybe. But anyway. All right, I'm glad to be here. I'm catching everything back up, and let's do this. If you guys want to help us out here, there's a scrolling banner at the bottom. If you want to keep these great conversations going, ways you can do that: Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, however you guys want to do that to keep these conversations going. If not, just go ahead and buy Demetra a cup of coffee. Also, do not forget the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get on Apple Play, Google Store. Get great videos from Demetra K, Brother Phil Scott, Wongel, Vicki Dillard, and a whole host of other people. A lot of stuff we've got 6 weeks of winter about left, and that means things are warming up. And when we say things are warming up, from what I've been told today, as back to the show, there's something that kicked off that is warming the tensions up and stuff. And then we're going into the midterms. And I'm just going to say this, just me saying this to you guys. Even if the Democrats get back in power and they take the midterms, what are you going to get out of it, Black people? Ask yourself that. When you go to those polls, I want you to ask yourself, what are you going to get if you get the Democrats back into power? Let's get into it.
Absolutely. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. So on Friday, I guess a lot of people woke up to the news that Trump had posted something rather questionable on his Truth social media platform. That's the name of it, Truth Social. And so they said that the post had actually been up for 12 hours, and a lot of people started to talk about it from all walks of life, all over the world, just different people, right? And so when I saw it, I was like, whoa, okay, now I'm going to show y'all as best I can the timeline of things as to what happened. So this is what was actually posted. Now, on some of these videos, the music is muted due to copyright things, but for the most part, you'll hear everything. So here's what originally popped off.
That counts of votes. A Telit 4G wireless chip manufactured in Taiwan was discovered embedded into the motherboard. The voting machine tapes clearly indicate modem engagement and transmission of election data. Some of the anomalies that we noticed in the 2020 general elections, that 5 key states all stopped counting at a certain time in these key battleground states. These were all where the software, the mini machines, the SNS machines were used, the Smartmatic, the GEMS software. So when the vote stopped counting, and this has been noted in other countries as well, President Trump was significantly ahead. When reporting and counting resumed, there was a massive spike occurred that that favored Joe Biden.
Okay, so it actually was really, really quick. I'm going to show y'all the very end again if I can.
And counting resumed, there was a massive spike occurred that that favored Joe Biden.
Okay, so that's what was actually posted on Trump's Truth Social. Okay, so again, everybody kind of was like, what? This is crazy. This is racist. So I'm going to read you two, and I meant to put it up, so forgive me. But one is from Senator Tim Scott. He is saying, now y'all know Tim Scott is like Trump's boy in so many definitions. Okay, y'all can do what y'all want to do with that. Nevertheless, he says praying it was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. The president should remove it. Okay. Now he was responding to some other thing that says President Trump posted a video featuring the Obamas as monkeys on Truth Social. Then Kamala Harris, among many people, right, entered the chat on her Twitter. She says no one believes this cover up from the White House, especially since they originally defended the post. We are all clear-eyed about who Donald Trump is and what he believes. And so it basically says she was responding to Axios that says racist video of Obama's removed from Trump's Truth Social account. Okay, so she is like, yeah, right. So let me see. When he was asked about the post, this is what he said.
Do you have any questions, John?
Mr. President, the media post that you took down earlier today, the White House says that a staffer sent it. Who sent it, and are you going to fire them?
No, I looked at it, I saw it, and I just looked at the first part. It was about voter fraud in someplace, Georgia. There was a lot of voter fraud, 2020 voter fraud, and I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a picture that people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part, and it was really about voter fraud and the machines, how crooked it is, how disgusting it is. Then I gave it to the people. Generally, they look at the whole thing, but I guess somebody didn't. And they posted, and we took it down, and we did it. You know. But that was a voter fraud that nobody talks about. They don't like to talk about that post. We took it down as soon as we found out about it.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post. Is that something you're going to do?
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things, and I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine. They had that one post, and I guess it was a takeoff. By the way, a lot of people covered. If you look at where it came from, I guess it was a takeoff on the Lion King, and certainly it was a very strong post in terms of voter fraud. Nobody knew that was at the end. If they would have looked, they would have seen it, and probably they would have had the sense to take it down. But that was a takeoff on the Lion King, and a lot of people were covered on in different positions. So, but I spoke to Tim Scott. He was great. Tim is a great guy. He understood that 100%.
Okay, so two things. So the original video was in regards to voter fraud, right? So the guy was talking, basically trying to say it looks like maybe there was some fraud going on with, the election against Trump, right? So again, in the kind of the tail end of that little splice of the Obamas was put in there. So again, he was like, I'm not going to apologize. I told somebody to post it. I saw it, told him to post it. Did not look at the whole thing, but he really doesn't feel like he did anything wrong, but they did eventually remove it. Now, I'm going to show y'all the video that particular part came from. Now, this is where the video is muted because it's playing a Weeble Way or whatever the name is, y'all know the popular song. So this is the whole video. Now, the context is it was posted by some Kentucky Republicans like last year, October, something like that. They took it down. It sounds like they apologized as well, but you're going to see a whole host of people depicted as animals. So here's the whole video. Okay, So again, that didn't have any music, but it depicted him being Trump as a king of the jungle. And there was a whole host of Democrats, whether it's Chuck Schumer, whether it's Zara Mandani, you saw Hillary, you saw Biden. So you saw a whole host of Democrats depicted as other animals. Again, you saw Obama and Michelle as, you know, the baboons or apes or whatever it was. Right now, there's been a lot of pushback because people are saying it wasn't even no apes like that. In the Lion King, because they're saying, oh, this was, you know, a depiction of the Lion King. But some people are also saying, okay, but you didn't post that whole video. Whoever posted your video posted just the part of Michelle and Obama. Okay, now this is some well, I'll let him tell you who he is. This came from a news segment.
Oh my word. I am a registered Republican. My dad was the president of American Pipeliners Association, so I came by it rather naturally. Voted for the president, supported him, but I really want to apologize. I mean, I'm looking at this awful picture of the Obamas. What an embarrassment to our country. All this man does is tell lies. He is not worthy of the presidency. He takes bribes blatantly, and now he's being a racist blatantly. They were supposed to deport the dangerous criminals. They were not supposed to go after small children, storm schools, bring terror upon, you know, the little kids and the women and children, not just the immigrants in the school. All the children are scared. This is not a decent man. This is not an honest man. He openly takes bribes. He's pathetic as a president. And I just want to apologize to everybody in the country for supporting this rotten man.
John, did you vote for him in all 3 elections?
I did. I was sucked into the stupidity of creating jobs, and there are no more jobs in New Mexico. Things are worse than they were before. You cannot find a primary care physician. Our governor just passed some laws to try to help. If you are a young physician, we want you in New Mexico.
Okay, so that was a gentleman who I guess was a Republican, but I guess he's ashamed to be that. He specifically cited that of the Obamas being depicted as monkeys, and of course, a lot of people are saying, "Hey, he posted that, you know, during the beginning of Black History Month as well." And so this was the explanation from that of the press secretary Caroline Leavitt.
You know, it was a meme that was posted by a staffer on the president's True Social account. It was from a Lion King video depicting, as you pointed out, different Democrats as different animals. I think Kamala Harris was depicted as a turtle in this video meme. The president did take it down. He spoke with lawmakers today out of respect for them, including Senator Tim Scott. The post was removed. But leave it to the leftist media, of course, to talk about this all day, rather than talk about the fact that the Dow has broken over 50,000 points for the first time in our nation's history, rather than talk about what President Trump did last night, launching TrumpRx.gov, which is the first of its kind, amazing, beautiful website for direct-to-consumer drug purchases for the American people to go to TrumpRx.gov right now and to purchase prescription drugs that are at a much lower cost, sometimes more than 600% less, because of the successful deals that this president negotiated with pharmaceutical companies. It's great news.
Yeah. It's phenomenal news. Actual solutions to problems that other politicians have can kick down the road for years and years. But you know, it's not just Democrats. There are Republican senators, Pete Ricketts, others saying, "Look, we understand it was this, but the president should just come out and apologize for it and say, look, this was a mistake. Sorry if it offended anyone." Why not?
Well, look, I won't get ahead of the president, Laura, and he may be speaking with the press later today, but he did take down the post. And again, this is merely a distraction for the fake news media from TrumpRx last night, from the fact that this week it was revealed 0 illegal aliens were released into our country again for 9 months in a row, another historic achievement of this administration. The fact that this week we saw the data murder rates in this country the lowest since 1900. I mean, these are unbelievable results on behalf of all Americans, regardless of race, religion, or creed, whether they live in a red state or a blue state. And we fight extremely hard here every single day to get the fake news media to pay attention to the wins and the achievements that I see this president firsthand working around the clock to accomplish and to deliver on behalf of this great country, which he loves so much.
Okay, so that was the press secretary, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, she is the mouthpiece for that of the president and all things pretty much that comes out of the White House. And so she is basically saying it's just a meme. You know, and it's a distraction to distract from the great things that, in her words, right, that Trump has done. The stock market hit 50,000 for the first time. Of course, he did come out with a Trump RX. I think it was Thursday night, Wednesday night, or something like that, where you can go get certain prescription drugs for a discount. I looked, I don't know how much of a discount it is. It's just some things on there, but he announced that. And then she again, you know, basically said it's fake news, and this is the leftist media that is, I guess, trying to grow this thing bigger than what they think that it is. And so, Donovan, I'll let you respond to it since you weren't really abreast as to what all went on. But that was kind of it in a nutshell as of now. But I know Trump has not apologized. It has been taken down, but he basically didn't feel like anything was done wrong. And I should say, on both sides of the conversation, there are a lot of people who feel like the gentleman and that spoke to say he was a Republican, Kamala Harris and Tim Scott, although the president did say that he did call Tim Scott, and I guess they're good now, whatever it was. Then you have some that feel like Caroline Leavitt is like, I don't see the problem. So what is your opinion on all of it?
I saw a video with a bunch of people depicted as animals. I saw other monkeys in there as well, people depicted as monkeys as well. We got to get these Black people emotional. We really got to get these Black people upset about something. I mean, they're just sitting at home, taking care of their families, minding their business, getting their ducks in a row. We got to do something to get these Negroes upset. When you get into your emotions, you suspend your logic. You suspend your logic. What do I mean by that? What I mean is this. What's new? Donald Trump or any white man puts out something like this, even though he didn't do it directly, any of his acolytes or anything like this. Why are we surprised by this, Demetra? Is this the big action everybody's been talking about while I've been away? This ain't nothing new. The very people that some of you guys work for, when they go home, they're calling you the N-word and all this other stuff and smiling in your face the very same day, especially the liberals, especially liberals. I just don't get the shock. I live in the United States of America, the racist country in the world. We fight it every day as Black people. I am not surprised. I am not shocked. I am just, I'm the only shock that I would say that I am shocked, Demetra, is that he had the balls to do it out in the, out on plain stage for everybody to see. Got to give him respect for doing that, if that's what he's going to do. But the fact of the matter is there's a whole lot of liberals and a whole lot of white people that hide behind their high little doors. They talk about, this and police brutality and stuff while they have armed security, while they live behind their little, in their little worlds. To me, this is a nothing burger. If you're a FBA or Black American or somebody with black skin or brown skin, and you think being in this country, you're not going to experience racism on the level that Black people have experienced it, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Look at the history of this country. All you got to do is look at what FBAs have gone through since the inception that we were forcibly brought to this country. Look at the newspapers back in those days. Look at the newspapers back in the 1950s. How did they depict Martin Luther King? Senator Byrd, one of Joe Biden's good buddies. Martin Luther King, he's the one that turned that turn in the 1960s. So what is the surprise here, you guys? I'm not saying we're post-racism. Oh, well, it's the Obamas. I don't give a damn about Obama, because guess what? He didn't do nothing for Black people. So what? And I'm gonna leave it right there. Total nonsense.
So yes, there's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions about it. I outright, I think I waited like the end of the day because I was busy, but I did call it racist. It is very racist, and I think, and as I said on my post that I put on my Facebook and my Instagram, it's racist, and those who are making excuses for it are either racist themselves or racist apologists. So to me, that's just my opinion, regardless of who posted or whatever, because I kind of look at things a little bit differently, I guess. Because I'm like, okay, the video is talking about voter fraud, but why or how did that even get in there? Now, did Trump put it in there himself? I don't know. Something tells me 80-year-old man, he probably didn't do it, as he probably's got a lot of people to do it. My thing is, you are telling people to post stuff that you're not even watching. See, more so than it being racist, because I agree with you. I'm not surprised. Race is going to do what race is going to do. What struck me too is that, okay, so you're just allowing people to do things in your name. So if you're allowing people to post on your social media and you didn't check it, you said you did, but how could you have watched that and thought it was, because like when I post something on my page, I watch it or whatever it is and make sure that it's something that I should post. So what you're telling me is you told your whoever it was to post it, but you said you kind of saw it and he said, hey, okay. So either when you watched it, the clip of the Obamas wasn't there, or when you watched it, it was. Nevertheless, it went through 2 checks and balances. You and the person who posted it, and nobody caught that. I don't know, it was maybe like 2 seconds of a clip or whatever it was. Nobody caught it. So then I think, okay, well, obviously, and this is not new to Trump, but to me, it apparently seems like there's a lot of rubber stamping going on in the White House in the name of Trump. And I've always said that, because we know that Trump is kind of not really even there like that. So who's rubber stamping things? And you're just saying, yeah, it was me, right? So to me, that was probably the most telling part of it, that you're just saying, hey, post this. And then it took you whoever posted 12 hours, it took it down, even though the backlash, and that's Laura Ingram's, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, even she was like, oh, and she's a big time flaming, y'all fill in the blanks, right? But she's very on the right. Even she was like, come on, is he gonna apologize? Because this is pretty, you know what I mean? So to me, that was telling. You're just telling people just to do stuff and they're doing it. And this man has the nuclear codes, at least we told he is, right? But you're just telling people to do stuff. Yeah, okay. So again, it went through 2 checks and balances. Now, of course, we're not surprised by that. I'm not surprised. I think there's a little conflation going on, not with you, Donovan, because I see a lot of people doing this. Surprise and not calling it out. Those to me should be 2 separate things. One thing I'm never is a surprise of what them folks do. I'm just not, right? Trump is from the old school. He's probably to them. We got to realize too, to a lot of them, racism is as American as apple pie. It's like, what? What did I do? It was just 2 black people looking like monkeys. Now, in all fairness,
and it was funny.
Well, I didn't think it was funny, but in all fairness,
no, to white people. That's how they think.
Yeah. So in all fairness, though, the whole video of the lion sleeps tonight or whatever, it was a bunch of them, but that was not posted. It was just the part with Michelle and Barack. And we know the tropes that go forth about black people and monkeys. Okay. Even though scientifically speaking, you look at it, that tells a different story. Okay. So yes, I'm not surprised. Now, as far as the left using this as a leaping pad to say, see, they're not telling us anything we don't know. I think who it's surprising to is white people. I think they're more surprised because they're like, did he say that out loud? Because we say these things at the table. They gosh, it look like, and we've heard all the criticism about Michelle. She's a man, she's a monkey, she's this, that, and the other, which I personally do not like. And I've told people, if I see you calling Michelle Obama a man in my comment section, I'm more than likely going to block you because I don't like to participate in that type of stuff or whatever it is. But, the left is going to use it. I've seen a lot of Republicans say, hey, nah, you can't do that because they know what it's costing them. There was a seat in Louisiana, I think it was, to where a Democrat won the seat overwhelmingly over a Republican, and Trump won that particular area by, I think it was 17 points. This was yesterday. And so they said that also Trump was online, I guess, in the middle of the night, ranting and raving. He's mad because, this is not the way it's supposed to go here. So a lot of Republicans looking at this. I think if they could have gotten away without making a statement, they probably would have, because of all the other things that they kind of just been all right with, but that was blatant. There's no oops, that's not what it was, even though a lot of people are trying to spin it. But yeah, I'm not surprised, but I think that it should be noted for sure. Now, some people say, "Oh, it's a distraction." I kind of, my thing is this: I hear the whole distraction like it was done on purpose theory, and I'm not saying that's not possible, but all the things you could do to distract, especially Black Americans, you go out and because even one Republican, it was I think it was Lindsey Graham was one of them. I can't remember who it was. It was like, oh my God, he's going to destroy the gains that he's made in his terms with the African American community. He needs to apologize. So they're looking at it like, man, like the Republicans are starting to get some traction with Black votes, and here you come. So that's why I kind of think, was it done on purpose as a distraction? Or was it just done on purpose as if we've been doing a whole lot of other things? And the other question is, who gonna check Trump? Who gonna do anything about it? Think about it. Trump has kidnapped the president. He's taking the country. He's talking about taking Greenland, Cuba, Mexico, and and some other stuff that he's done. He played Battleship Galactica in the middle of the ocean with people who are fishermen and a whole host of other things. So he hasn't been checked then. So who's gonna check him? Donovan?
Again, the guy's got to remember he can never run for president again. He's in his last term. He's a lame duck president. So any promises that he made, it doesn't matter to him at this point. It doesn't matter. He's a two-term president. He's, according to the Constitution, he's done. But have you heard of this term called plausible denial? Right? A lot of us have heard of it. And a lot of presidents use it, and a lot of CEOs use it. Because what it is, if you've seen Donald Trump, he is actually running the country in the way that he knows how to run things. He delegates the majority of the authority to his underlings, right? Like a CEO corporation. You got the vice president, you got the regional manager, and this, that. He just say, hey, I want this done, and these people go and do it. He doesn't micromanage it. So there's a thing called plausible denial. And what it is, do I think that Donald Trump knew that was in the video? Of course he knew. But does a president know everything about every little detail that goes on in a military operation or economics or whatever? No, he's not an expert. I mean, in my opinion, Kamala Harris, she's intelligent, but she's dumb as a rock, right? She doesn't know everything. Nobody does. I don't know everything. They have a term, it's called plausible denial, to where they have an idea of what's going on. And if you saw that video, I'm not defending him. He was like, hey, I put the video, I told him to do the video, but I didn't see this last part. Maybe he didn't see it, which I really doubt. But the point is, he is using the plausible denial thing to get away with it. Do you see what I'm saying? Because let's just admit it. He has his family. They have a issue with Black people in the past. The Little Rock, the New York Five, Central Park Five, and all these things, and lawsuits, and things like that with Black people. But yet he's down with Black people at the same time. So you can't sit there and tell me he didn't know that this little insert was in there. I mean, this is a man that shook the Obama's hands when he first got into the office, right? The Obamas were the ones that first did all these other things. Didn't Donald Trump take Martin Luther King's statue out of the White House? Didn't he take Obama's picture out of the presidential White House picture form? He did all of these things. So he's using plausible denial, like, hey, I didn't do anything. Or I didn't know about it. I didn't know. Yeah, you did. And you let your underlings do it in your name. So that's where we're at. But again, why am I not surprised by this? Because I know this person's past, at least some of his past. I know all of his past. Like I said, we still haven't seen all the Epstein files, but all of these past things, a person's past dictates how they're going to move in the future. And is it credible that this guy, he comes from an era where, hey, that's funny. I mean, I'm sorry, you can't tell me Donald Trump moved in an era where his neighbors were rich Black people like him. Most of the Black people he probably knew were servants, were people that worked for his father. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, but to be distracted as Black people at this point, by letting you get emotionally and you get upset, I'm going to say it again. I don't, at this point, you just got to be real about it. Your emotion overrides your logic because you're going off how you feel. At the end of the day, what are the Democrats going to offer you if you go into the midterms? I don't give a damn how you vote. But the fact of the matter is, this man insulting the Obamas who didn't do a damn thing for you, what does it matter? What does it matter? The Obamas did more for other people than they actually did for you. The Obamas constantly kept telling you what they can't do for Black folks, but then turned right around and did for the Native Americans, LGBTQ, and all this other stuff. Yes, disrespectful, whatever, but I wouldn't expect anything less from a person of that era.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. I just feel like with Trump, yeah, he doesn't know anything. Presidents don't know anything. They probably know the least if you think about it, because they do have all these experts, allegedly cabinet members and things like that. But at the end of the day, you at the helm, right? He talked about he's a commander in chief, this, that, the other, he's that. So I was like, don't tuck your tail and run now. Huh? Even though he did kind of say, yeah, I told them to do it, didn't know type thing. But it's like, man, you heard that was up for 12 hours and you decided to leave it up there. So somebody ain't really telling the whole truth because 12 hours, man, it really take you 2 seconds to delete a post. You know what I mean? So some in the milk ain't clean. I think there's some intentions there. And yeah, is Trump racist? Yeah, because my opinion is I think most of them are. Most of them, some of them are overt, some of them are covert. You're starting to see a lot of them becoming covert or whatever it is, but I think that most of them are. But yeah, I would say that a lot of people, especially the Black Democrats like Al Sharpton and all them, was like, man, stop it. Y'all know Trump was all of that. When he was taking money from him, he was booed up with him and all kind of stuff. And now they're speaking out against it. And I'm not saying they shouldn't speak out against it. I think you should speak out against it. Now he has a bone to pick, if you will, with Obama. He's made several posts, he being Trump, that Obama should be arrested due to some what he says a coup and committing treason in regards to a Russian investigation that took place in 2016. He feels like Obama was complicit in some technology, so he's repeatedly called for him to be arrested. And the MAGAs, calling for him to be arrested, things like that. Will he be arrested? Probably not. But he just fixated on Obama. Now, some people say that he's probably jealous or whatever it is. I don't know if it seems to be, but it's like, I mean, you want him arrested like all the other things that people have done. You want Obama arrested? Okay, whatever. Now, I want to just kind of give a little pushback because I've seen a lot of people, and this is why I said to somebody on my post, because somebody's accused me of being a Democrat. And I was like, if I'm a Democrat, I'm not afraid to tell you I'm a Democrat. What you gonna do to me if I was a Democrat? Which I'm not, but I'm just saying all that trying to bully people. See, one thing that Demetra Kaye was never afraid of was a bully. So I'm not gonna be bullied because people, share the same brain on the on the internet. I'm not gonna be bullied. I don't care, right? But I think there's a little bit of conflation going on because I've seen also a lot of people say, oh, well, the Obamas didn't do nothing for us. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, see, now we're having two conversations. This is what I said on my post. Some people cannot have a linear conversation because right now, because what in a sense we do, when I say we, I mean collectively, it's because a lot of people say we're not surprised at white supremacy. But then when I hear these things, I hear how a lot of people want to make excuses for white supremacy. Now, I know I've done a many stories on Obama, so I know Obama's done nothing for us at all, right? And he's very open about that. I didn't want to hurt white folks, and that's a whole other theory I got going on. But when we say, well, it don't matter that Trump did that because Obama and them didn't do, it's like there's two conversations because you absolve Trump and the racism of what he did by saying, well, it don't matter. Obama, he didn't do nothing for us, because when I hear those things or even see that Trump has done something like that to Obama, this same thing with my conversation with Don Lemon, if he'll go after Obama, hell, I ain't no Negro. And I know, Negroes lightly with him, but I'm just saying, nobody's off limits. So I think we should start having one conversation at a time, because to say, well, it's almost saying that's what Obama gets. And to me, I'm not even arguing because it's Obama or because it's Michelle. I'm saying in general, you are The president of the United States, and listen, I think every last one of them, from George Washington and even Obama, in a sense, have been racist, right? I don't think there's one president that has sat in that White House and has not been racist. But you are the president, and there's some things you're not supposed to do, right? I think regardless if it's racism or whatever it is, it's like, at what point do you raise the bar as the leader of the free world? This is what they say, right? So there's certain things you're doing, and you're openly, allegedly racist. So we don't get to have that conversation because we say, well, that, Obama and them, they this, that, and the other anyway. It's like, nah, yes, that's true. But we need to have the conversation, because what happens is we don't have the conversation, and we do let white supremacy off the hook. It should be called out, because listen, at the end of the day, whether it's Obama, his mama, the drama, whoever it is, if Trump wants black folks' votes, he does need to be respectful, because if you call Obama and his wife a monkey, how many times do you think he's calling everybody else a monkey? And again, I don't get into the weeds with Trump being racist, because I don't think he's any more racist. I think he's more covertly, and I think a lot of it's probably because he's old, like Biden. He's getting a little Biden going on, with just some of the kookiness. But, I think when we have two conversations at once, well, I don't like whataboutisms. I really don't. I think that Trump that should be examined without saying, well, what about the Obamas? And I don't even think this conversation is really Black Americans to own, which is why I haven't really said much about it up until now, because I don't think that's our conversation to own. I think it's for white folks to have a conversation about they white folks who are letting the cat out of the bag, because I think they're embarrassed, because this is something we talk about at the table behind closed doors. We don't get out in the public square and call Black people monkeys. We do that in the house or on Twitter.
Totally agree. It's unfortunate that is going, but see, I'm going to kind of swerve a little bit away from you, Demetra, because as I was laying in bed dying, I was thinking about, what Donald Trump represents right now. Because, again, I live in a high Hispanic neighborhood in the community, and you're hearing everybody's just in this despair and, oh, Donovan, you don't know what it's like to be profiled. You don't know what it's like, people just picking you out because of the color of your skin. I mean, I'm actually hearing this stuff, Demetra. I'm actually hearing this stuff from my Hispanic neighbors and people, and these young people trying to explain this stuff to me, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm just like, wow. And I said, and we say this all the time, and I say this all the time, don't just come to the United States for all what you can get. And I've talked to some that say, oh, hey, we gonna come in here and get what we can get, and then we gonna do what we got. Hey, if that's what you're gonna do, you're gonna do. But at the same time, how do you come here for the good stuff and not expect the bad? Donald Trump, and I'm glad, he is showing what America really is. Not this sugarcoating and the propaganda. Oh, it's a land of milk and honey, the land of the free, the home of the brave. He is showing you what the power structure in this country that control the levers of power in this country are actually about. Why is it that, Demetra, I don't understand why people don't understand. As strong as these white racist men are, and these people that are behind the curtain, how come they aren't fighting Russia? How come they don't want to fight China? How come they don't go to these countries that have just as much military might and resources as the United States? Because there's a fundamental understanding of what could happen, right? But no, we're going to go and bully our way to the smaller countries and make ourselves feel good, whatever it is. For those people that have migrated here, whatever, again, this is America. Welcome. What have Black people been saying for I'm just going to say in the last 80 years? Last 80 years. We fight racism every day, and we're still fighting it after being here for over 600 years on this continent, if not longer. We still cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to dealing with racism. So I'm glad he is showing what we have to deal with every day. It is real. It's actually happening. It never goes away. So all you young people out here that are watching these shows thinking, oh, y'all are so old. Racism is so long ago. Martin Luther King and that is so, y'all got to get over that. Get over slavery. Get over it. Really? Really? Here we are in the modern day, and the big old slave master is in the White House. What you gonna do about it? Just go home, close your eyes, and hope the big bad boogeyman goes away? No. That's why you're crying for black people to get up off from the couches and get out there and go fight. Demetra, I'm telling you, like Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump, at least I can say this about Donald Trump, and I'm not defending him. He is who he is.
Oh, absolutely. And as far as people talking about, you don't know what it's like, is like the reason why they say that we don't know what it's like is because they haven't been paying attention, and they have been dismissive of what we've gone through in this country. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, what did you do? Let's see what happened before the count. All of that is like y'all been thinking we've been playing, right? We're sensitive. Oh, y'all just need to, it's not that bad, right? Oh, racism, it doesn't need, like you said, but it's like, nah, it doesn't come directly to your doorstep. Like I said, nothing wakes people up like seeing two white people get gunned down like dogs, okay? Dogs in the middle of rabbit dogs, to be, you know what I'm saying? So that's when things become a little bit more clear. Like, oh, wait a minute now. You mean the system that we've been championing and been all right with doing it to you? You mean it could do it to us too? Yes, it could do it to you too, because it was never about race, right? We talk about all the time. Communist Manifesto, I had my book up here somewhere, but we talk about all the time where it has always been about the money. Race, I was trying to find a book of race, religion, party, political parties, all that that's the distraction. Trump in this thing about the Obamas isn't a distraction. I think it's more leverage for Democrats and maybe some Republicans who are looking to jump off, right? Like, okay, here's my reason, here's my my chance to jump out of the car. I think that's what it is, but it's all a distraction because what's going on is the money. Now, I told y'all I'm in the middle of reading/listening to 1984, right, by George Orwell. And it's almost like I'm watching the television of what's going on today. Now, this book was written, I think, in the 40s or the 30s or something like that. They're describing, see, I guess he thought 1984 would be that, but he was, about 40 years off or whatever, where we're seeing that stuff now. It's almost like, to me, it's almost like the White House, whoever's pulling the strings, right? And the White House has said, we're going to play from the book of 1984. We're going to do everything, even the 2 minutes of hate, the thought police, and, the Department of Truth, which is really the Department of Lies, right? Many Plenty, that's the Ministry of Finance, but that's basically everybody's broke, so everything's the opposite type of thing. And so those things are the distraction. The money moving. And Trump, like you said, Trump is who he is. And Trump got to see, this is why I tell people, like, you got to think for yourself, because if you know the nature of Trump, he's gotten along with black people, like, because in a sense, Trump, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like what I'm about to say, but you could take it or leave it alone. Trump was permeated into black culture. He would you from rappers to television shows to you name it. Now I know he was in some other stuff, but I'm saying as far as black people, Americans especially, Trump, Donald Trump, let me in now. He was on the Fresh Prince, like he was just involved in like black people saw him as, if I could just get a golden toilet, right? So I'm saying that to say Trump also comes from money. Trump has never, and I'm not talking about no little money like your daddy owned a carpet store up the street. I'm talking about money. Okay, so Trump is never known and I ain't talking about him going bankrupt, because you can go bankrupt and still have millions of dollars, right? But he's never known what it's like to be broke. He eats McDonald's because he wants to. There's some people and they can't even afford to do it now because of how, but some people do it because this is what's for dinner, right? So I'm saying that to say, I think Trump's problem, more so than him being a racist, because I do believe he is that, I think his problem is that he is out of touch with anybody outside of him and his daddy and mama's pay or tax bracket, right? He's like, so he's working for the oligarchy, and we have seen that. Even with that movie, the Melania movie, which they're bragging, oh, it made $7 million. It's like a jive turkey. It spent $106 million to make this movie. You know what I mean? But see, Donovan, that's the technology. That's the Operation Mockingbird. That is, the ministry of truth, which again, that's the opposite. We just tell them, oh, it's the #1 documentary. It's like, come on, you mean to tell me it took $106 million to make the movie, but it made only $7 million? Sound like a $99 million in a hole, right? But that was put on by Jeff Bezos. Amazon Prime, they, took on this undertaking of a movie. Nobody wants to see no Melania run around talking about no damn inauguration dress. Now, Donovan, that maybe this is what you can speak to. There's word coming from the military that they were ordered to go see this movie. And they said, a lot of them was like, we didn't want to go see that, but they were saying that they were told, hey, you need to go support this movie.
Well, that could be partially true. I mean, you can't really mandate somebody to watch a movie now. What they could do is do a commander's call and go to the base theater and have everybody in there watching it, if they like it or not, and do what they got to do. But to mandate them to go do it on their own time or something, I don't think so. But even if they did, it's just a good way to get a nice little nap in, and from the work, whatever your work detail is.
They said it was something like justified as military, like an outing or something that they do.
Yeah. It's like commander's call. You just go and you kind of see what's going on or what the commander in chief has to say or wants to do for you, whatever the deal is. It's again another form of Operation Mockingbird propaganda. Hitler has always said, the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. So, and that's still very true today. I mean, look at the lies the Republicans and the Democrats perpetrate against the people, and look at how the people are at each other's throats. As much as the news media on the left has lied to the liberals and all the liberal BS that is going on, the people are still quoting news media that told them Kamala was going to win the election. You know what I mean? CNN said that, and then Roland Martin said, get you so upset. Roland, you guys, let's be real. The only reason Roland Martin is upset at what is going on is because, remember, the Democrats did an autopsy of why Kamala lost. They never released it. They never released the autopsy publicly. And part of that autopsy is they're looking at their black shills and they're saying, we paid you all of this money to deliver the black vote and it didn't happen. So Roland is worried about where he's going to get his next grift. That's the only reason he's upset about all of this at the end of the day, because he could really give a damn about black people. Because if he really gave a damn about black people, he would be telling us the truth about what is going on in our individual neighborhoods and holding people accountable. A good example, Jasmine Crockett. I heard this woman say, Demetra, in an interview on a podcast, that she knows she's not going to win, but it's about the getting out there and fighting the good fight and all this other stuff. And I said, as a politician, you want to win. Nobody wants to vote for somebody because they're making a statement. You know what I mean? I don't want to throw my vote away. Oh, well, I'm going to go with this person because, they have no chance of winning, but they said that they're just going to make a statement by running. The woman basically ruined her, and I'm not taking anything away from Jasmine Crockett, even though she causes play as a city girl. She's a very intelligent woman. She's very educated. She's a qualified lawyer and all that other great stuff. I'm going to give her flowers while she get it. But the miscalculation of running for Senate in a red Texas state, she was drinking her own Kool-Aid. That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to run to better the lives of the people, not I. And this woman who was a, like it or not, lightning rod for this or that or that or this, is no longer going to be in government politics at the end of this election cycle. And it's a shame. And it's a shame. That's a voice that we've now lost.
See, what I think is Jasmine has realized she's going to be make more money being a rock star, right? So if she doesn't win, she may or may not win. I mean, surprising things happen, right? But if she doesn't win, if she did say that, I didn't hear her say it, but if she did say that, she knows that the honey pot is on the other side, right? She'll be this pundit. She'll get to speak all over because she's this firecracker. Because again, I know a lot of people don't like it, but we as Black folks in general, we like style and symbolism. We're unlearning that a little bit more so now, but we do. Because as I always say, what is Jasmine saying? What is she saying besides cussing out the president? You know, calling him a hoe and all that. Like, what is she actually doing and saying? If you look at her record, you'd be like, well, why are we impressed with Jasmine again? Because isn't she going to Washington to bring home the bacon for her district and all that? So what is she actually doing? If you go look, you'll probably have the same question I have. Like, okay, why are we excited about Jasmine? Oh, because she sounds good. So I'm thinking she's conceding that she may not win. It's because she's like, I know I'm going to be on the TV. I'm going to be here and there. I'm going to be getting all the speaking gigs. Shoot, I'm going to come out like a fat rat, you know? Because again, people want to hear all that. As far as Kamala is concerned, you know, I see that she rebranded her website and her Twitter and all that as headquarters, right? So it's like, is Kamala going to jump back in? If I'm Kamala and her people, I'm thinking, oh, you know, Trump, he's really like, you know, foobarring this whole thing, right? With this racism, you know, and he posting it, and then people, not even just Black Americans, because Black Americans, we're watching what's going on. We're not involved as much at all. We're paying attention, but you know, he's messing up with the Hispanics because again, you got to remember they did vote for him, you know, kind of 50-50. When it's like, why? And I'm not saying Hispanics like they're the only immigrants, but y'all the major immigrants they really trying to get after. Not getting rid of everybody too, but I'm just saying. So she's seeing that he's messing up with a lot of people. And again, we're seeing a lot of these seats that were red or in red areas flip blue. We're just seeing it, right? So she's probably thinking, oh, okay, because she's reading, she's seeing the polls. Oh, well, you should have voted for Kamala. You didn't vote for Kamala. I heard Al Sharpton today on the radio say, if you didn't vote at all, that means you voted for Trump. And it's like, I didn't call in because my daughter didn't want me to or whatever. I was, but I'm like, so then if you didn't vote, and you know, when Biden was running or whatever, then when he won, did you vote? I mean, like, so if you didn't vote into Biden won, did you vote for Biden? Like, what are we doing here? You're lying and guilt tripping people. A no vote is a no vote. So with the Democrats, they went with all this foolishness still, right? And so, yes, to go back to your point of, you know, the Democrats and Trump, yes, Trump is a racist. Let's just concede that what he did was racist, or his whoever was that was racist. Okay, great. Not great, but I'm just saying great. Democrats, what is your plan? What is your plan? Because we see what your plan is for the illegal immigrants, right? You want them to, we need you here. What's your plan for us? Because to your point about rolling in them, you know, the autopsy that they did on the Kamala's campaign, I kind of disagree with it a little bit because they I don't know if it was them, but the Black vote was still delivered in that 92% of Black women and 78% of Black men did vote for Kamala. She got less a percentage of the vote than Hillary, Biden, and Obama, right? So that looks like there's some trickle down, but she still got the lion's share of Black voters. Now, the problem may come in is like, you know, these other ideologies, just like I always say this about Roland. Roland used to be the sweetheart of Black media, right? He just was. For a very long time, he was the go-to. He was this, that, the other, and a lot of people, Black people, listened to him. But what this is all speculation, by the way. The paymasters might be looking at it as like you're losing control, and if I'm the paymaster, I'm like, they don't respect you like they originally did. And why don't they respect you? Oh, because they see that you, in a sense, you know, have been doing some things to lure Black people in unfairly, right? Like dancing with Hillary. Oh, if you just learn how to do this, you get a lot of black votes, right? And it's, and then how you talking to black folks, you idiots, you super, man, come on, man. You supposed to be, so if I'm an investor, I'm looking at that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. And my last point, I think that was my last point, but yeah, the Democrats are still got to answer the question as to what you're going to do for Black Americans, because if you think 2024 was bad, you just wait to 2028.
Yeah, because I think the biggest thing, and I saw this on the AfroWire AI channel, and I kind of agree with it. Remember, I told you when I said, why are they letting all of these people in without vetting, just opening the gates and just flying? Remember, Biden was flying people into Black neighborhoods, flying them into Chicago, flying them into these airports. Just like
some of the governors that were doing that.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? But the immigration was coming in and they were flying them to different cities, wherever they wanted to go, right? And I'm thinking what the AI was saying, and I agree with it. Because remember, I told you, I believe it was more about the census and getting more seats and power in general, because it doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not. But just like the AfroWire said, was the Democrats gave unilateral, unfettered money to these Latin groups and these Latin people that they let in here, not understanding how Latin politics actually work. Just because you give people a bunch of money and stuff doesn't mean they're going to vote for you. And I really feel that is where the backfire happened, because 60% of Latinos did not vote for Kamala Harris. They voted for Donald Trump, and thus they did not, because I truly believe this. The Democrats believed they were going to win that election based on flooding the zone, and it didn't work with this population of people who come from a different politic than the American politic thinking.
So in closing, we got 4 minutes. What is your final assessment of the Trump gate number 99? Because Trump seemed like he always got something going on. So what is your final assessment of that?
Not surprised. And what's for dinner?
Yeah, and I agree. I'm not surprised. I think it should be called out, but I don't think we should spend a lot of time on it, because if we do, it would become a distraction. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by anything that they do, right? But again, the ultimate question is who's going to check them? Because somebody made a good point that says, if this was your boss or some head of a company or whatever that did that, they would be fired, right? That people would be calling for their jobs and to be stepped down, and they would. But we know that the checks and balances aren't us, really. It's Congress, and we know right now he has a lock on Congress as far as the Republicans, although I think that's going to start to loosen a little bit, because I think there's a lot of people like, yeah, that was cool until it wasn't. We can't really be, man, we talk like this behind the closed doors and you all out in the open, right?
Yeah, can I ask you real quick, how many Democratic leaders have come out and shamed and made a statement in regards to this, just in regard.
Quite a few. I would say probably most of them have. I mean, it's countless amounts of them that have said something about it. And I think everybody should, especially if you're in that position, you should say, hey, man, what the hell? You know what I mean? This is crazy. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't think we should spend a lot of time on it. It's, as I say, racism is American as apple pie. It just is. It's the fabric of America. America was built on racism, doing to what they did to the indigenous, right? And to what to Black Americans as far as slavery and things. So I'm not surprised. I think a lot of people are, like I said, I don't think the surprise necessarily is on us as Black Americans. I think it's on surprises on everybody else who are like, man, you got grandpa of his rocker.
Has the Latin community leaders come out and spoken their outrage, and the Asians, have they done it? Because I haven't seen or heard anything. I'm not saying they haven't. I just haven't heard and seen anything.
I want to say I saw, what's his face? Old boy that ran up on me at the parade, Takano. I've seen some people say something as far as, like the LULAC or congressional Hispanic. I can't say because I haven't looked, because I haven't really been in tune to it like
Isn't that sad that you got to think about that and say, I'm not exactly sure, can't say, you know, because their leaders should be out there saying that, what an outrage, but you don't see it because they remain silent. As long as the racism is happening to us, they don't have a problem with it.
But what is their leader saying something about it going to do about it? Who going to check them, boo? Ain't nobody gonna check them, right? You know what I'm saying? So I don't really expect the Hispanic caucus to say anything. I know that the Black caucus, they're honestly, let's keep it a buck. The Black caucus is only using it as leverage because we have seen their actions. Their actions have said, we're doing for everybody else. We're running around screaming about the ICE raids and things. And now that Trump is giving them, see, this is kind of where they should probably kick him in his orange behind, metaphorically speaking, is that, man, you giving them leverage. Because that's the only time the Congressional Black Caucus is going to say anything. And if it was about an average Negro, they would. If it wasn't about the Obamas, we probably wouldn't hear a whole lot about it. We'd hear some, but because it is the upper echelon of Negroes, right? They're going all in. But other than that, when this dies down, the Congressional Black Caucus is going to go about talking about illegal immigration again. So they're using the outrage and the anger of Black Americans to try to stick it to Trump, basically, so they can go on and continue helping illegal immigrants. So that I would say don't fall for, to where we go back and vote for nothing because we're mad that Trump is just exposed who they really are. Like you said, Trump is unapologetic. He said, I'm not apologizing. I didn't do anything wrong, right? It was an accident. Just like when Biden, now this is why I'm conflating a little bit. When the people say, well, Biden said he was sorry, you know, about those crime bills. Like, no, he didn't. He said the same thing Trump said. I mean, it was a mistake. I got bad medical advice, but he never apologized either. So with that, we as Black Americans, we should say, well, that's terrible. It is racist, but, you know, let's continue building and doing what we got to do, because whether we like it or not, or Trump likes it or not, or anybody, their time is up, which is why you see them doing it. As far as your conversation about Russia and all of that, they know Russia and China and them got a red button too. They know they got a red button too. You ain't special, right? Which is why they did what they did. When I say they, Clinton and them to Ukraine back in the day. They got, you know, Ukraine to give up their, you know, nuclear weapons because they had some too. And now they getting they can kicked in for 2, 3, 4 years now by Russia. They don't have a way to defend themselves. So, you know, and that's why they was doing what they're doing to Iran. You know, they were getting their nuclear weapons back up. And how you know? Come on, man, we ain't stupid. We know that you're attacking them because there's something you want up over there. So, anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Again, we are not live, but I will be back tomorrow. You guys enjoy your Super Bowl festivities.
Real quick, who do you predict, the Patriots or the Seahawks?
Honestly, I only knew that the Patriots was playing. I'm rooting for Bad Bunny. That's what I'm rooting for. Okay, that's the only reason why I'm watching is Bad Bunny. And I know some people say Bad Bunny, and I'm going to say this to y'all too. I listen to all types of music. I listen to Bad Bunny. I like Bad Bunny. I'm looking forward to his performance. It's okay to rock with Black Americans, all black every day. But if you know anything about Puerto Ricans, they're just a different boat stop, right? With all that, they became a part of the United States in 1971, you know, officially being entitled Americans and all of that. But I say all that to say, I see a lot of people, who cares about Bad Bunny, right? Whether it's white folks, I see Black people. I'm like, what did Bad Bunny or Puerto Ricans do to you to where, who cares? Because when I hear that kind of conversation, I'm like, y'all sound like the white folks. You know what I mean? Like, you're mad at Bad Bunny because was you mad when any other person was able to do the halftime? Like, you mad, but why are you mad at Bad Bunny? It's just weird to me.
You know what it is? I think it's the Fred Sanford syndrome. Remember how he was always on the Puerto Rican guy about being from Puerto Rico with the goat? It was, you know what? It's their goats, bringing their goats and not chaining their goats up.
Right. So that's what I'm rooting for. I'm not even watching football or anything like that. I'm watching for Benito. Okay. So anyway, y'all have a great rest of your evening. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.